Hey, lady.
Hey,
How are you again?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well. I'm like in the middle of my workout and I was like not going to come. But you know how it is when you have MG. Sometimes you feel like it, sometimes you don't, sometimes you can, sometimes you absolutely cannot. So I'm trying to do the
I'm
best I can do out
like
here.
300% jealous of you right now, though, because you're actually working out, and I have been like on bed rest for the past almost 2 months.
It's
So
been a while, yeah.
yeah, I'm super jealous.
Don't because you're the one that inspired me. And if I'm going to be honest, I have not been able to work out since my sternotomy. So
Oh
when
yeah.
I started, I could not even do a push up. I'm
Did
up to
you
3 push ups now.
did you get a trainer, or are you just like
Yeah, I'm
doing
working
it?
out with my friend. She's a trainer, and I had just moved to LA, and she's been training out here for a while. So I'm working out with her.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna ask you because I know in your interview you said that you were in Cali, so you're not born and raised there, or
I was born and raised in Gary, Indiana. It's
oh,
like right outside of Chicago.
when did you move to Cali?
Girl, long story. So my mom was in the army,
Mhm.
and she met some guy in Germany that was from out here in California, and I moved when I was about 10 years old, which was like the end of the third grade.
Oh,
Yeah. So
you grew
I've
up
been,
there.
I've been here for a while, but the Midwest is definitely in my heart.
Did you go back often?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get back now, probably around March because my granny is like, okay, where you at? Where the kids at? Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's pretty dope. So, all right, people are starting to join. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to my first ever Pass the Mic live interview, and thank you
Is
to
this
our
really the
first
first one?
guest. Yeah, this is my first one
I did not
that
know
I
that.
did live. Yes.
I did not
So,
know that.
well, yeah, I mean, it's the first one, so bear with me. Growing pains, like I said, teachable moments, but I'm thinking we're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So, Um, if some of you guys did not have a chance to read some of the answers to the questions, we'll just briefly go over some of the stuff that she mentioned as she talked about her MG story. And then we'll get into some more candid, good stuff that you can only get on the slide where 24 hours afterwards. um, so, yeah. All right. So your diagnosis story. Oh my, when I read it and you said you went completely blind, I was like, oh, that ain't happened to me.
Yeah, it was just like
um,
out of nowhere.
what? Like, so you really couldn't see anything? It was just gray. It was just black.
It was kind of like just real fuzzy, like real blurry. Like when you first open your eyes kind of in the morning and you can't, like you're just real disoriented. So it was like first I couldn't see far away and I was like, dang, I'm getting old. Okay, amen. And
Mm-hmm.
then I looked down at a piece of paper and I couldn't read what was on the paper. I was like, man, okay, not only am I getting old, but I need to get my eyes checked. And then when I looked up, I couldn't even I was like seeing double vision. And then I went and I called the doctor, and I'm thinking like maybe I got some type of parasite or something. I was really freaking out, and I had to have someone drive me to the doctor. And by the time I got to the doctor's, I was completely blind. I could not see anything, and I was in the hospital for about 3 days. And a neurologist ended up coming in and diagnosing me, and he was a black neurologist, the only black neurologist in Southern or Northern California, and yeah, and it was really really devastating because my daughter was 6 months old, so I was breastfeeding. So I'm
Oh.
at the hospital, all engorged, like trying to hand express because the hospital wouldn't give me a breast pump, and my kids is at home. I'm like, keep the kids at home, don't bring them to the hospital because they could get sick and they're young. It was tough.
I can't even imagine. Wow. So you were in the
Yeah.
hospital for 3 days. When did your vision come back? Like, what did they do?
It came back on that third day actually.
Okay.
So I was getting like all type of spinal taps, all kind of MRIs.
Uh-oh. Think we lost her. Oh, back up. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So, I was just getting all this tests, and it was like he had came on and gave me the diagnosis, and then later that day I went home and my vision came back, and it was like timely, I suppose, but it was just like going home with the new diagnosis. I couldn't like breastfeed anymore. It was a whole new lifestyle.
Definitely. So your doctor was the only Black neuro in Northern California. Do you stick strictly with like Black doctors? Like, is that something that's important to you, or it just happened that way?
It kind of just happened that way, but after I had my second daughter, it was something that I was really adamant about, because when I was pregnant, I had this old white lady, and I'm not even, he diagnosed from my white blood cell level, I believe, or something like that. And she had told me that if I didn't get the flu shot, that I was possibly going to die, me and my baby. And I was like, look, lady, okay, I don't even have time for this. So after that, I had become real specific with who I was choosing to provide my care, because I wanted them to be able to relate to me and my lifestyle. And so having him be a Black doctor really made me feel a whole lot more comfortable, being that I had been dealing with these symptoms since I was in my junior year of high school, and no one had ever been able to diagnose me.
So you did go to like doctors and stuff before, and because you had been experiencing symptoms, but nobody.
Yeah, like I had the double vision before and was hospitalized for it overnight, and people told me that I was lying. I had actually went non-responsive before at church and had to ride in the ambulance to the doctor, and it was like I literally couldn't move. I couldn't open my eyes. I heard I was conscious of everything that was going on around me, but you know, Myasthenia Gravis, it paralyzes your voluntary muscles. So it wasn't that I was faking. I just really couldn't move. And so the lady was like, oh yeah, she's just faking it because she had a little argument with her mom. And I'm like, what? No, this is real life for me right now. So after those experiences, it was really important to feel heard whenever I went to the doctor.
Yeah. And so I know you are one of the people who like, you're like, the medications don't really work for me. So when you told your doctor, like, oh, I'm not going to take it, like, what was their response?
Girl, that's funny. He basically just said, well, it seems like you want to lead a normal life. And this is actually when I stopped dealing with the doctors, period, because this was my Black neurologist telling me this. He said, well, it sounds like you want to lead a productive life, in which case you probably want to take this medication. And I was like, but you don't understand that the medication is actually preventing me from leading a normal life with all of these symptoms. I can't do it. And when he got that response, that's when I started to search out some holistic remedies. Even like I had told him, like, you know, I'm noticing when I'm eating certain foods, I have more presence of my symptoms. And he was like, oh yeah, no, diet doesn't matter. You can eat whatever you want. And I'm like, I know you fucking lie. So I just stopped dealing with the doctors altogether, to be honest.
And this was before, so this had to have been after your sternotomy.
Yeah, it was after my sternotomy, which I give thanks for the procedure. I definitely feel like, given the tools that I have now, that I probably could have gone without the procedure, but the amount of energy that would have taken, I give thanks that, you know, I survived it. For sure.
So like, well, because I had a thymectomy, but it was a robotic and it was through the side. So I only have like 2 little marks.
Yeah.
Well, I had 3, but it's only 2 little marks that are still visible. So what was your procedure like? And like, I know your recovery was rough.
For those that didn't read the story, I'll just tell you, I had gotten really sick 2017 one day at work, and usually my symptoms would come and go, like I was still having like the double vision and stuff like that. But after about an hour, that's when I could kind of tell where we're going with the symptom for that day. And so I had to leave work, and it was really bad because that was the first time like I had hard swallowing and shortness of breath and stuff like that. And when I went to the doctor the next day, she was like, yo, this is really serious. You probably shouldn't go back to work. And so I have been having to schedule with the surgeon over and over again, but the surgeon would like come in, not close the door, or like just stand over me and give me some short answer and walk out. And I kept rescheduling me. It was like real inconsiderate, like no compassion. So I had finally saw this one doctor, and I was like, yo, if it was you, would you do the robotic surgery? He was like, to be honest, you know, you can't see everything when you go in. It's a chance that you might have to go in again. And there's not enough studies to make him feel comfortable. I was like, well, coming from the doctor, you know, when can I get this sternotomy then? Because I didn't feel comfortable already, having been told that I needed the procedure. And I went to the doctor on a Tuesday, And by Friday, I was going into surgery, and it was crazy. It really changed my life. And so I have the scar. It was a really good doctor, so my scar actually doesn't start until right about here, where most
Okay.
people's, they start, closer
Yeah.
up to here, and then it comes all the way down, and then I have like a little scar here where they have the tube. They don't tell you that when you have a sternotomy. You got to have the tube to drain all the liquid, so it's actually two scars. Yeah, and I'm still recovering 2.5 years later. They don't tell you that either. So
So how long were
it's
you in the hospital after your surgery?
5 days.
Um, that's not too bad. I think I was in the hospital for about 2 days
Yeah.
after mine, then they let me go. But they did tell me, they said, well, we're going to try to go in from the side, but there's a chance that while you're on the table, we might have to cut you up.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, y'all will be fine.
And then he told me too, he said that the robotic surgery would actually hurt more because they're going through the ribs. I was like, yo, it's going to hurt more than you saw and open my chest? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so. So my hat off to you, sis, because that sternotomy really took me out. It was like really painful, and I have a codependent personality, so I couldn't even take the oxy or the morphine afterwards because I'm codependent on all things more than one. So I had to really be conscious of where I was at in my mind, and I couldn't even take the medicine.
I think you're back.
Are you there?
Yeah, we were breaking up. So, okay, you had your surgery and you went home. So you were basically home, bedridden for the next like few weeks or months, or what was that like?
You really want to know, huh?
What's going on?
I wrote a blog about this, so go ahead and check it out. Praise the Lord. So I was also going through a really hard time in my marriage. My marriage was practically over at that time. So I came home from surgery on a Tuesday night about 6 o'clock. And on Wednesday, the next day, I was at home with my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old. Or no, they were 5 and 2, 6 and 3, something like that. I was at home with them by myself the day after I got out of surgery because my husband wanted to go and see the woman that he was with. And it was like really, I had just had my chest sawed open, and I had to put them in the bed. They had bunk beds. I had to clean the tub that night and give them baths. I had to make dinner. So going home was really tough, actually, and it really like showed me some things. Either like I survived it, but I was questioning whether I should have put it like that because it was so damn hard.
Right.
It was really hard when I got home. And, you can't drive till 6 weeks afterwards. Oh, I didn't tell you guys, I had gotten fired from my job the day before surgery.
Wait, you didn't tell me.
Yeah, I had gotten fired the day before. They had called me and told me they couldn't give me the 3 months to recover. So when I got home, it was really tough. I was home by myself. Yeah, for a long time, and then eventually, my living situation was not going to support my mental capacity, and so I left the home because that was the only thing I could do, and my 2 kids, and I was displaced or homeless for about a year while I was on disability.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. Oh, you mentioned your girls. They're so cute.
Thank you.
You guys, click her profile. Her daughters are the cutest little things. So have you talked to them about like MG and like what it is? Or how you have a conversation with them and make it age appropriate?
They saw it all, and I'm gonna be honest. I've been trying to figure out how to make things age appropriate for a very long time. And the only way that I could think of doing it is just to be honest. They saw my struggle from the very beginning. They saw that their dad did not help me, and it's not my responsibility to sugarcoat that. They know that their mom could have died, and we give thanks every day that I didn't. So there's no way to really make that age appropriate. It's just something you gotta give with love. And I think that giving it in love helps them to receive it a whole lot better and understand that life is very precious, and we have something here, and there's a purpose. So it's like, every day we say and we give thanks every night. 3 things that we're thankful for, and
Right.
2 things that we will want God to help us with, because it just really showed that we can't take it for granted. And they've seen me literally on the hospital bed, and they've seen me without a home. And I had to tell them, I'm not here because I can't provide for you. You can't come with me because I myself don't have a place to sleep tonight. And they would tell me, like, that makes me feel sad. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just still give thanks that we have this time right now today. And it's very hard. And I'm glad that I didn't protect them from that, because they see me now today, and the things that they tell me when I think that I can't do it, they say, Mama, you've been through some crazy stuff. I know you could do it. And because they believe it, I do too. So, like, it was probably the hardest time in my life, if I'm gonna be honest. And I think back, and if now today, I probably wouldn't know what to do if I had to do that again, because it was so damn hard. But the grace of God, and I give thanks for that.
Oh, that is such a testimony. Like, honestly, I honestly did not know.
Yeah, it's been
all that happened. Like, it was like a domino effect or a snowball of like everything.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
You make my story in comparison. I feel like, I should not have anything to be complaining about.
We all could complain, girl.
Let's see. So, all right, since we're kind of similarly on the subject, support system. So you said that your husband at the time really wasn't there, and your kids were they were there, but as children, there's only but so much you could do. Did you have other support systems? I know now you said you have a really good partner who supports you without making you feel like incompetent. So
right, that's
what does
important.
that look like? And was it like a learning process, or was it more innate? Because sometimes with chronic illnesses, people who are healthy don't know what to say or what to do to not offend, but they don't want to not do anything. So it's just a weird dynamic.
So even for my partner, we were friends then, and he was always present. I think that time for me really showed me how to support and show up for myself. Because people that even did want to be there, they couldn't be. I was all the way in, San Francisco area, where most of my friends were down in LA. It's like an 8-hour drive. And my mom, she had come with her husband. They actually had ended up leaving, before I had even gotten out of the hospital. So it was just like really hard. But I learned how to ask people for what it was that I needed. And I learned to just show up for myself and just trust God above all else. So it was nice. So I was like parking in the alley, and I would just give thanks, like, God, thank you for giving me this alley to park in tonight. And, thank you for having the money to pay for this hotel tonight. And, it was me and God.
That is super awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So let's see. All right. So this week on my blog, I kind of talked about like toxic positivity. What are your thoughts on the subject? I know you've seen the post on Instagram with people like really going in hard, and at first I was like, what are y'all problems? Like, it's just a little positivity.
So I think that what people lack is compassion. And not just for other people, but for their damn selves. Yes. And I saw somebody post something about how compassion is not natural, because it prevents you from like being able to take care of yourself, because this is a world of survival of the fittest. That makes sense. But if you truly understand that we are here to transcend our nature, then you would add compassion in your life, because that's able to like connect with people and advance yourself, because the biggest biggest investment that you can make is in people. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So people who are like, I don't know, that's the only thing I can say, is that there's a level of compassion that you have to have.
I agree. Like, I was like, oh, that's not a thing. But I mean, it is a thing. I just think you have to first be honest with yourself. And I do think that people oftentimes are very, very sensitive. Like, we live in a very, very sensitive culture where everything is offensive and everything is too much and everything is considered toxic. But
right.
it was like, I'm not responsible for how you interpret what I'm putting out if my intent was not a negative or a toxic intent.
Right.
It's like a self-responsibility. Like, check yourself. It's not toxic. I'm sorry you're triggered. So, like,
no, but for real.
Yeah. Let's see what else. All right. So most people probably don't know you and your story, but like I fell in love with all your traveling pics. Like every time I turn around, every month you're in like Bali, you're in Thailand, you're going everywhere. So like talk a little bit about, like what you do, your different retreats.
Yeah. So right after I had surgery, I'm sorry. So I was blessed to go to this tantric retreat where it was all about like sexuality and connecting to the body. And I followed this path for about 2 years while I was healing. And now I'm really interested in sharing that knowledge with women who look like me and who have had similar experiences where they feel disconnected from their body, disconnected from their pleasure. And I really feel that by working with your sexuality, it moves at the speed of light. Like as soon as you have a thought in your mind of something that turns you on, you can't even finish the thought before your body is already going. It's faster than the speed of light. So if we can harness that bliss that we feel, we can really learn to operate on the level of God, is what I'm learning and also wanting to teach to others. And there's a lot of different practices that you could do that. I specifically love rituals and teaching people sexual embodiment and working with crystals. So that's what I'm starting to offer. I'll be in Bali this month teaching a sexuality retreat with about 25 women. I have another retreat coming to Portugal in the summer. I'm doing a vision board party here in LA if anybody is here. It'll be on Sunday. And just like presenting opportunities for the community to really connect with each other.
Well, that's super dope. And especially because you get to travel. Like, I really want to stamp up my passport some more and see all these nice places.
Right.
My passport has like one little measly stamp. I'm ashamed.
That's good. Some people don't even have a passport.
So, like, your transition, I guess, well, were you already interested in a, like, more holistic and natural lifestyle prior to your diagnosis, or did that kind of come in afterwards after you knew that you didn't want to take, like, traditional Western medication?
It kind of came in kind of both. Like, I never really, like, liked meat, so I didn't eat pork or beef already, and I already, like, prefer to use natural products on my body just because, being aware of the chemicals and things like that, it's kind of hard to want to use that stuff when you really have an understanding of what's going on. But then I was also lazy too and unmotivated to do those things. So when you have some serious chronic issues going on in your body, it'll definitely put some fire under your ass to get it together.
So you're vegan, completely vegan, vegetarian,
completely vegan,
flexitarian,
completely vegan, no meat or dairy. Yeah.
How long did that transition take? I tried to be a vegan for a week, and 3 days in, I quit because I tried to make vegan tacos, and they did not turn out well.
I'm sending you some recipes. That's the easiest vegan dish you can make, girl.
It just
to be honest, so that year into 2017, when I got sick at work, that was in August 12th. On August 1st, God had told me to cut my hair, so I had cut my hair off. And then a couple of days later, God was like, okay, stop eating meat completely. A couple of days later, God was like, okay, no more cheese, because I was obsessed with cheese. And then a couple of days later, that's when I got really sick. So I felt like that was a real progression for me of God trying to let me know something was going on with my body, in which case I give infinite thanks and probably won't be going back.
Yeah. God will have to send a couple more messages to me.
You funny.
It's been I try to eat as healthy as possible, but sometimes, I guess because I'm just used to it. But in general, I'm way more, I guess, pescatarian friendly than, like red meat, definitely no pork or things like that. But I don't know, just the thought of committing to, I guess, like a vegan lifestyle just seems so massive and like overwhelming.
You definitely have to be prepared. being vegan has taught me how to just prep in my regular life period, and plan accordingly, because if you get caught slipping, it's easy to turn back because of all of the conveniences that Western life provides us with. So if you are not prepped for success, then it's pretty difficult.
And so, how soon after you kind of like transitioned to veganism did you notice any like immediate improvements in your symptoms and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. I just noticed that it was easier for me to have more energy.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I even like now, I can't really compare it to eating meat because I haven't had it in so long, but now I'm trying to go gluten free. And so
Mm-hmm.
like I could say the same way gluten affects me now, it's like I just feel a lot slower. It takes a longer time for me to digest my food. I don't have as much energy. My brain doesn't seem as clear. Like I can't focus, or even I can't like get the downloads from God as clear when I'm trying to meditate or do my work. It makes me feel like a more of a empty vessel to channel the divine, which sounds kind of cheesy and cliche, but it's honestly been my experience.
Oh, keyword. Yeah, send me a couple. Send me like the easiest recipes
Girl, I
that
got you.
don't feature corn, lettuce, tomatoes, beans. I'll see the list of stuff that I don't eat.
Girl, you okay. I got you.
That's my
I
other
got
part
you.
of being vegan. It's a lot of things that I don't necessarily eat. So it's like you can only have spinach and green beans, but so many times before you're like, okay, I need something else.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess going back to your journey, and now looking back, what do you wish that you had known, like right at that initial moment of being diagnosed, or before going on this journey? Like looking back, what is like the one thing that you honestly wish you would have known?
What is one thing I wish I would have known? That I had control over my own health.
Mm.
Honestly, like now I'm taking like different herbal supplements, things that I probably would have, needed to be taken regardless if I have MG or not, and just like how to work with my body, and pay attention to the issues, because really, like, your body tells you what's going on, and because we're just so up here and in our brains, we don't really pay attention, or we don't really believe, because everybody thinks that, like, okay, if your shoulder hurts, that's normal. It's not. You should look into that and see what's going on there. So I wish that I would have felt more empowered to like own my health and the things that were going on with my body.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I don't think I was a hypochondriac, but I do think I was very in tune with like stuff that's going on with my body, because I didn't really get sick prior to like having MG, but
Mhm.
I did have like seasonal like allergies and sinus issues. So like when I
Mhm.
started off with like the headaches and like I'm like, oh, my allergies are going crazy.
Right. Right.
Got this double vision going on, and then just opened up a whole new tailspin of no, that's not it. The
Right.
Zyrtec's not going to fix this one, sis.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's really not.
So other than your tantric sexuality classes, what other things are you like dabbling in or curious about or interested in like expanding upon in the future?
I'm really loving getting into these herbs and how they are like affecting my body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on an herbal regimen that was recommended to me, and it's really like, it's wild, because I really can feel like my nervous system working with my muscular system in a way that I have never felt before. Which you would think that you wouldn't be able to notice it, but especially with this condition, those two systems communicating is going to make a huge difference in how we experience life. And so I'm really like interested in learning about herbs and how they affect like us sexually and our sexual organs, and how that could like really open us up more. So like I'm really on this wave with the herbs right now.
That's dope. That's super cool. Okay. And my last really interesting question that I have is, what's something that you have tried and failed at, like, during this journey that you, like, it just didn't happen for you?
uh, was something that I have tried, and well, communicating is something that I feel like I've trialed and erred a lot, and just like knowing how to say what's going on with my body in a particular moment and not like being ashamed about that, because it's like super frustrating when I'm able to come and work out at the gym, but the next day I can't get out of bed and I need you to help me put my clothes on. Like, that's frustrating as hell to me. And I'm learning that I don't always communicate that well. Unfortunately for those that are trying to help. So that's something that I really want to get better at, and just like owning it to the next level where I'm not ashamed of how this condition is affecting my body.
Yeah. So what's been like your most embarrassing moment, like when a symptom has flared up or you just like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing, I can't believe this is happening to me?
Well, I have Bell's palsy too. So
Oh.
yeah, so that was like one of the first symptoms that came up for me in high school that like really triggered like something is going on. So sometimes when I'm having a symptom or like a flare up episode, my eye will get really droopy, and so will like this side of my mouth. And yeah, I hate it because people look at me like it's work. Sorry. People look at me like, you know, like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, are you on something? I'm like, no, I'm pretty good. Yeah, like you know, I'm just out here living my best life with the side of my face paralyzed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mine's nothing like that. I actually one day was walking to the mailbox and I just like literally collapsed in the middle of the street.
Wow.
It was super embarrassing, and then I looked up and realized that there was nobody outside, but it was just still embarrassing.
Right.
Because, you know, it's embarrassing when you just walk down the street and you trip.
Right.
So
right.
to just completely, like, collapse is like, oh, wow, you just did that.
Right.
But looking back, like, now I can laugh about it, I guess, because it's like, all right, well, this is just what it is. But
right. It is what it is.
Did anybody in the chat have any questions that they wanted to ask? Or any comments? I think I had one. I posted a sticker into one of my stories. And somebody asked, what's the meaning behind your IG name?
Yeah, Heart of Malele. So I am in the process of convincing myself to change my name from Artheena to Malele, but Malele is Swahili for infinity. And one of my biggest fears was that I would be forgotten, because I thought that my condition was really going to kill me. And so at that time, I was trying to figure out how I could leave a lasting impression for my kids. And I got really obsessed with this idea of forever. So with me, like, just trying to have this brand of, you know, promoting sexuality and things like that, and also like conquering my fear of leaving behind my kids, which is inevitable. I wanted to present my heart of forever. So we have Heart of Malele.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
That is super sweet.
Thanks.
Oh, Brian has a question. Can you see the questions too?
Yeah, so
okay.
yes, Brian, I do need to be camera ready. I don't know if he has came on, but I was just like in the middle of my workout. So I was not ready at all, to be honest. But yeah, actually, me and my partner have been trying to also like bring the issues that women have and how they show up for men. And what I'm finding is that the testes and things like that operate the same as the ovaries. So how our issues are manifested in our ovaries and sexual organs are the same for men as well. So if you have any specific questions or you want to work with it more, definitely reach out, because I'm trying to get more of an understanding of how men work, and I would love for you to be my test subject.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Brian. Sign up.
Yeah.
Any other questions, anyone? Or anything else you want to touch on or just spread awareness about? Or did you want to ask me anything? Or
I'm just like really like glad that I found you, because you were the first person that I found that was living with this same condition. I was really shocked too, because a lot of the people that I saw were not women of color. And
Absolutely.
we're about the same age. So I just definitely appreciate you for bringing the awareness to this condition as you are, and including me in on your journey as well. Because I feel really encouraged and like I'm not alone. Because I'm not.
That's exactly how I like. On all my posts, I was like, oh my gosh, this was like the first person that I met with my condition. Like, I was really excited because it's like, it is super rare. I started going to like, well, at first when I was first diagnosed, I went to like a couple of support groups in like my immediate area, but there really weren't any people of color and there weren't any people my age. So I stopped going because I was like, I can't really relate. You can't relate. And so then it's like, okay, well, then you turn to social media and there are people who, there are people with the disease, well, in retrospect to like, you know, what Crohn's, lupus, and all those other major ones, we're such a small segment. And then within that small segment, a person of color is like,
right.
You're like, oh, where are you?
Right.
Can't see you. So it was super refreshing to just meet someone, and I can't wait. Hopefully we will get to do our meetup this year.
Yeah, that would be super dope. I just want to answer Tree's question. So we have gotten creative, and I've started writing letters to be able to say the things because sometimes like he's offering me too much help and it's kind of almost like a crutch, and then sometimes I'm not asking for the specific type of help that I need. So I just write letters now, and that actually is working good for us at this moment.
Yay. Anybody else? I think we hit all the questions.
Yeah.
Let me make sure. Well, I really appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise.
Being my first live. Being so open and gracious and sharing with us, and being my first MG friend of color.
Right?
Oh, wait. We do have one more question from Maria.
Go for it, Maria. My trainer's probably like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you taking a break from the workout. I did not mean to stop the sweat flow. You could have told me we needed to...
No, because I just need to get my life together, and I had booked it this morning, and yeah.
Oh, no, she was saying that she thought that Tree's question was...
Okay, got you.
Okay. Well, we will let you get back to your workout. Again, thank you guys. So thank you so much for agreeing to this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully,
yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in because you guys were consistent. I was watching, and I appreciate you guys for sticking for.
You're like, they gonna come in and go out.
That's how people do. Okay, that's how people do.
It is. All right. We'll see you later.
All right, see you, sis. Love you.
Bye.